All right, bang, bang. Today is Monday. It is October 30th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Snake Draft Monday. White Sox Dave is out. So
it's Deggin Day. He
yeah,
took the day off.
It's his birthday, and he's not even here.
Yep.
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, wherever he is. He's shooting a video. I know where he is. He's working.
He's getting right with the Lord. He's talking to Sister Jean.
So on Zoom in New York, in one office, we have Nate, we have Dana B., and we got Frank the Tank. Frank, we'll start with you. It's been a while, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and nobody knows about sports heartache and misery and suffering and pain to me.
Yeah. Tanky, how are we going to be during this one? There is some concern. Some people want to let you out of the cage. Some say cage him up. How you feeling, Frank?
I'm feeling fine.
Okay.
Although hopefully Tyreek Hill is okay. Hearing that he missed practice yesterday.
It's not great.
More pain, suffering, misery.
Dana B., how are we?
Good, Ed. Fresh off a Key West trip with you. First time over there for Ed. We had a great time. I think me and Ed are going to be doing more content in 2024. I think I'm going to sling him along to some of my trips. Hopefully he's okay with that. I'm always a dog walk guy. I've always been a listener. It's been a minute since I've been on draft, so I'm happy to be here. I mean, I've been a blessed sports fan, so
yeah.
I don't really know what direction I'm gonna go. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I was talking to Nate, and Nate's like, is this going to be all personal? I don't think it should be. I think it should be in the scope of the biggest sports heartbreakers in history. So
yeah, but I also don't want you guys.
We're gonna make this broad sports. We're not gonna just make this about team sports. We're going to also try to see about individual sports, aren't we?
Yeah,
Totally.
of course.
Yeah.
Teams, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the broadness of it. There's a lot of different directions we can go here. And I don't know which way anybody's going to take this. I think it's pretty open-ended.
Yeah, and obviously, like, you could make a mix and whatnot, but we'll see. We got the encyclopedia over there ready to go. So it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. We could get underway here. We have producer Harry with the number 1 through 5 behind his back. Nate, what number do you think it is?
5.
No.
Dana.
3.
Yes.
Ooh. All right. I don't know. Just give me 3. Give me the 3 spot. I like being right in the middle of the sandwich.
You have to gauge the first few picks on this one, right?
Yep.
Tanky, 1 through 4. What do you got?
2.
Yes.
Wow, it's Frank. That's big, Tanky. Where do you want to go in the order?
Why do you keep calling him? Why do you keep calling him
Tanky
Tanky?
like that? Like he's a little.
That's so weird.
I like calling him Tanky.
Yeah, but you're saying it weird.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna take number 1 pick.
Oh, I like it, Tanky.
You have to stop.
You're freaking me out.
I don't like it.
All my DMs to him, I say Tanky as well. Right, Frank?
Do you mind it?
It doesn't bother me.
See, he likes Tanky.
By all
There's
means,
a difference
by all
between it
means.
doesn't bother me and I like it.
Yeah,
There's a big gap there.
All right,
It's just not a fight he wants to pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
1 through 3, Chief.
1.
Yes.
Wow.
I will go. I'll go in the 2 spot.
Fuck. 1 or 2 to me. I'll say 1, Harry.
No.
Nate.
2.
Correct.
Yes.
Do you want 4 or 5?
I'll take 4.
Damn.
Give me the eyebrows, Nate.
Because I wanted you to tip me off which one I should take.
I really wanted number 1.
You think there's a clear, far and away number 1 pick?
I kind of do. I
Wow.
kind of do.
I didn't think there was. That's what's crazy.
I think there is.
I
too.
think there is one,
I'm
too.
very curious to see if we're all on the same page.
There's no way you guys all agree that they're on the same number 1, though.
I think it's obvious.
Frank, did you take number 1 because you think there's a definite number 1 pick?
I got number 1 because I'm gonna pick. I know which one I want to pick.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
That's cool.
All right, before we kick things off, I want to talk about MUGSY. They make the most comfortable jeans, chinos, shorts, and joggers ever, made from buttery soft, patented stretch materials that look stylish but are insanely comfortable. Never too baggy, never too tight. Chief, tell me more about MUGSY.
I mean, MUGSY's the absolute.
Stand up and show them off because I'm wearing
Do
them.
it. Do it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Comfortable, flexible.
Nice,
Touch your toes. Do high knees.
I mean,
you can do whatever you want to do in MUGSY. That's how comfortable and flexible they are. They're not like regular jeans. They're like kind of wearing pajamas. They have more than just jeans, though. It is kind of jean season. If you're buying MUGSY today, I would recommend jeans, but they got the chinos, they got the joggers, they got everything you need to fill out your fall wardrobe. So go to MUGSY.com. Use promo code Chicago
for 10% off. That's a nice promo code for the most premium jeans, chinos, swimwear, and shorts on the internet. MUGSY also offers free shipping and returns, so there's absolutely no risk giving them a try. If you're in Boston, Chicago, D.C., or Austin, Texas, make sure to head downtown and check out their storefront as well. Easy vibes every time. Enjoy a beer while you shop. I just had a friend text me for a promo code, and this is no joke, straight from his mouth. He asked me what our promo code was. I told him. He said, just got my MUGSYs. You guys sold me a long time ago, but man, did I wish I would have pulled the trigger sooner. Swear to God, real text. I said, yep, they're great jeans. Glad you like them. Go get some MUGSYs.
Love that.
Tyreek Hill has returned to Dolphins practice.
Hey.
I mean,
Hey, before we get started, actually, I'm just wanted to say I'm going to be in Chicago tomorrow and Sunday. If the fellas want to maybe watch some football on Sunday, something like that.
Dana
You know,
B.
just offering my services.
Dana B.
That'd be nice for
and I'm
me in
heading there
Athens.
for the Barstool Invitational. I'm gonna, I actually was originally just going there for Devils Blackhawks, but I'm going to stick around a few days and go to the Invitational.
Nice.
When are they playing? What day are they playing the Devils?
The 5th, November 5th.
Okay.
Nice.
You want to go together?
I'm gonna get a lot of people going together. I'm going with Mike Belisi.
Okay, so
Mikey Betts.
no is the answer to that.
Hey, if you want to be part of the crew, talk to Mikey Betts.
All right, I'll see if I can get
Put
an
in your
invite from Mikey Betts.
application.
Yeah.
It'll be considered.
Okay.
You just got
all right.
dunked on.
Yeah. No, I guess I'll find someone else to go with. Maybe I'll bump into you in the concourse.
Yes.
Yeah.
People don't know that Tanky's got a team.
He rolls. He needs like an extended limo to fit all his guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting an entourage. I got Mikey Betts. I got Jenks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a growing entourage.
I will
Where do you
say they
find
were
these
nice
guys?
when they came here. They were here for the Notre Dame game. I liked those guys when
Nice
I chatted
guys.
with them.
Nice guys.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, Frank. Since they won't let me call you Tanky, you could lead us off here.
I'm going to go with the number one pick. And the number one pick is Sports Heartbreak. I was actually on the other side for.
Dead?
And I think to myself, because I've done with so much heartbreak, what would it have been like to have been a Boston Red Sox fan the night of October 25th, 1986. 68 years you haven't won a World Series. And the Mets go down feebly the first two batters. You're 1 out away. And you got a 2-run lead in the 10th inning. And then Gary Carter gets a hit. Kevin Mitchell gets a hit. Then Ray Knight gets hit, and it's a 1-run game. You bring in Bob Stanley, who throws a wild pitch, game tied. And now, a little rolling baseball going down the first base line, rolling slowly, goes through the legs of Bill Buckner. The Mets win the World Series. And that it took eight until the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004. That moment, was a cloud over the Red Sox. And I think it's probably where they had the trophy, the champagne in the Red Sox locker room that they had to take out of there quickly before they got in there. I mean, that has to be the ultimate heartbreak. Bill Buckner's error.
Frank, I'll be honest, that was like listening to an audiobook. That was impressive work by you.
I think that was the number one. That was my number one too.
Was that yours?
I don't know about anybody else.
It was not.
It was not mine either, but I think it's a good pick nonetheless.
It is a good pick. Am I up? Can I roll this into mine?
Well, do we want to dissect a little bit Buckner? I mean, it's a good pick for number one overall, even though it's not what I thought it'd be.
I mean, if you think about the Red Sox, they've had a history of heartbreak at that point. I mean, 75 World Series, the Reds were a better team, and they just fought tooth and nail. Mm-hmm. The 67, the Cardinals were better. I mean, so and they had the 78 collapse. I mean, but
yeah, I
to
think
be
it's,
that close, and to lose is got to be just the most gut-wrenching heartbreak ever.
I think it's a very valid number one pick. I think it's interesting that Frank, as the Mets fan, gets to pick the Mets winning the World Series as his #1 heartbreak moment. I think I don't know if that's irony or what it's called.
Well, this is
Well,
heartbreak
Frank
moment.
had to go to bed,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's kind of.
No,
Didn't you have to
that's
go to
why
bed that night, Frank?
It's to me my all-time favorite sports moment.
I thought you had to
You
go
had
to
to go to
bed.
bed?
You didn't get to watch
Yeah,
it.
well, I had to go to bed, and I got the
that's the real heartbreak.
Yeah.
and I got the '86 World Series video, which I've probably I still have the VHS. It's in my storage unit, but I must have watched that VHS tape probably about 500 times.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'd also like to make a quick note too that the encyclopedia, he looks like the only one without a laptop, so he's going off the brain.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
That's the first thing I noticed, and I'm
Yeah.
very intimidated.
Yeah.
Raw dogging.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, good pick, Chief. You're up.
All right, I'm going with Scott Norwood, Super Bowl against the Giants, 1991, the wide right game. That, to me, this is why I was going to bring it up in my commentary about Frank and the Buckner play. That curse, like all that heartbreak, has kind of been erased. They've won 3 World Series since then. Dana B has just grown up. Like who was the McGillicuddy kid for KFC? Like that's basically Dana B. He experienced all the good things. Buffalo still hasn't got it. So they lost that one. That was the only one they were ever really close. They'd lose 3 more, and they haven't really – they got to the AFC Championship, I think, once since then. They haven't sniffed it. They were dead for 20 years basically after that, and that's the only thing Buffalo has. So they care about the Bills. They love the Bills. They haven't won anything there, and it was one kick away in the Super Bowl from having – a Super Bowl championship, and they're only won the franchise history. So I'm going Scott Norwood, Buffalo Bills.
This was it, but to me, I think you minimize it too much. I think it's just losing 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah,
That's
Like-
what I wrote down as well, Eddie.
crazy, man.
Yeah, that was.
I would have
Yeah.
considered both of those, Norwood being the symbol of the Bills.
Yes.
4 misses.
Right.
You see, yes. Let's put it this way: that was the only Super Bowl that was close.
Correct.
They got creamed by the Redskins. They got the Super Bowl 27 was just probably one of the worst Super Bowls of all time. And then Super Bowl 28, even with Troy Aikman's head in a fog. Emmitt Smith had the second half 2 touchdowns, and that was all she wrote for that one.
Yep.
Dude, can you imagine modern day 4 straight Super Bowl losses?
Oh, the
That-
internet would melt.
I mean, I don't know how. I like the pick a lot, Chief. I mean that.
yeah. Well, and it's
That's
like
just
there-
so heartbreaking.
if you were gonna like think of highlights of the Bills Super Bowl runs, it's like the Norwood devastation, and then their like biggest best moment would be Don Beebe running down Leon Lett. And like making them fumble at the goal line, like that's what they can hang their hat on, is being down 52-17 or whatever it was, and like, well, at least it wasn't 60 because Don Beebe ran them down, made a hustle play. Like if that's all you have to show for 4 Super Bowls, that's tough. And
Yeah.
Thurman Thomas losing his helmet, that was the other one. So I think Scott Norwood is. I think Scott Norwood. That's the most heartbreaking one.
Of course, that's the most. I mean, I think you should have just said Bills losing 4 in a row, and that was my far and away #1 pick. I think if the Bears lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, I'm
You're not living.
jumping off the Sears Tower.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's no.
modern day times too. Just you'd never hear the end of it. I feel like people they don't talk about it as much as you'd think.
I agree with that.
They
know?
4 in a row. It's not like 2 in a row. It's not. It's 4 in a row. Is
Yeah.
insane.
You know, I once had an idea for a movie or like a little short, like that being, and it would be that someone lives on an island nation, a kind of a poor island nation, and you know how we send off the shirts
Yeah.
to the other
Yeah, yeah.
nations, and he has 4 Buffalo Bills Super Bowl champion shirts, and he grows up thinking that the Buffalo Bills are
Yeah.
the greatest team of all time, and he finally makes his way to America to see the legendary 4-time Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills, only to find out that they never won those Super Bowls.
Frank.
Yeah, I guarantee there's villages that think exactly what you just said. Guarantee it.
It's not a bad movie. I'd watch that.
I'd
shit,
watch
Frank.
it.
Yeah. Who would be the star? Who would be the lead? Gosling?
I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I like that though.
You're like a youngster guy. Dana.
All right, I was hoping Buckner would fall to me, but that didn't happen. So I'm gonna have to go with. This is I'm sorry to do it to the Chicago boys here,
Oh no.
and I know you're going to say it's Alex Gonzalez's fault, but it's the NLCS. Moises Alou, Steve Bartman. That sticks out to me, just being like a kid at that time. That was my, that's all I thought about the Cubs up until they won that World Series. And obviously they had an extremely long drought. I'll say the Bartman game. And, you like to say, Eddie, people like to say he didn't deserve all the blame, but he was the poster boy. And, yeah, it was just the cherry on top of a long drought for the Cubs. So give me the 2003
3. Game
NLCS.
6 NLCS because the Marlins. Yeah, and there were so many other things that went into it. Like, obviously, the Cubs are 5 outs away from going to the World Series. Bernie Mac sang the 7th inning stretch, and he said, "To the champs, when he said it.
Curse the fuck out.
Yeah.
I know that.
Me either.
Yeah.
That's a nice piece of lore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he didn't make it to 2016.
Did
Jesus.
not.
R.I.P. Frank.
R.I.P.
Frank, you are not
R.I.P.
mistaken.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, you're right. This was obviously horrible. This was my next pick, obviously, it was my number 2 after the Norwood. But I don't know. There was a weird sense of Game 7 being almost worse because you're like, we got one more game. Like you delusionally talked yourself into that wasn't the end, but in hindsight, like that was it.
When Kerry Wood hit that home run in Game 7,
Yeah.
I was like, they're going to the World Series.
Yeah.
And I remember I can't remember if the Red Sox had their Game 7 first. Did they?
I don't know.
I remember like when they were both heading into Game 6 being like, well, the world's just going to burn down. Like we had the 2 most cursed franchises in the world like seemingly on a collision course for the World Series in 2003.
I think the Aaron Boone home run was the day after the Cubs.
Okay.
After Game 7, the Cubs?
Yes.
Frank, I don't know, but I believe that you're right. and yeah, that Kerry Wood home run, we were like, all right, well, this is our guy. He was my favorite player. I'm like, this is our guy, like our savior. Like he's coming through. Like we're gonna forget. We're gonna put the whole Bartman thing in the past, and we're gonna go to the World Series. And then it just like, it was not even. It was like kind of like an anticlimactic. I think that they like. I want to say the Marlins got like Cubs went ahead, and then the Marlins got like 3 in like the 5th of the 6th, and then it was just like
it was just kind of.
It was just kind of like.
It was over.
Yeah.
No, it sucked. I just remember collapsing into a laundry basket
Yeah.
as a youngster. I said this last week. So it was the 20-year anniversary was.
Into a laundry basket?
Yeah, it just
You need
sat in a laundry
soft
basket
place.
for like an hour.
I love that visual.
They can be comfortable if you find the right one.
Yeah, I vividly remember. And I said this on the show last week because the 20th anniversary just happened. Someone just gave me Bartman's email.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I reached out.
I know we've
Ed's
talked about him.
Ed's
on
been
the
emailing
show
him
before.
every day, giving him a piece of his mind.
It's not true.
Every single day he tells me
Boy.
like
Dude, I know we've talked about
on
him on the
Alive
show,
himself.
but like he hasn't shown face once,
No.
right? Or has he?
I mean, there's been I think multiple documentaries about that night. I think 30 for 30 did one, and like everybody in that section was seemingly a part of it except for Bartman.
Nobody's been scapegoated in the history of sports like Bartman has.
He had to
Like,
leave
no-
town.
No, he
Yeah,
didn't.
I mean, there was a whole nother
That's not
game
true.
afterwards, and he's just blamed for everything.
Is it
sucks.
true that he's living in a monastery now?
No,
Yes.
he never left. He never changed his name. He looks different now. Someone showed me a current day picture of him. So I don't think the random person would just notice him just like walking down the street.
Didn't he go to Florida like for a month or so, like immediately after?
I was always rumors. Nobody ever knew because he's never talked
Yeah.
in 20 years.
That was the rumor about Neil also, is that he moved to Florida so
true.
he wouldn't be recognized. We got tips every once in a while, like Neil was at like the Applebee's in Boca over the weekend, and I talked to him. But you don't hear much about him anymore.
You're right. I
You're
remember
right.
that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's just floating around Chicago, and I don't know. He's the most sought after. Got to be the most sought after interview still. 20 years later.
Could he do appearances, like come take a picture of Steve Bartman for $10 type of thing?
Yeah, of course. Especially White Sox fans would eat that shit up.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I remember they had the auction for the ball,
Yeah,
And
Harry Carey's bought the ball and they blew it up.
They like electrocuted it into oblivion.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, he was in a tough spot. I feel like, if you don't want to or you don't want to turn it into a public thing, that's fine. Like Bartman turned it. Like by the end, he was on Curb episodes. Like he was embracing it.
Wait, who was that?
All right,
Buckner.
or Buckner. Sorry,
Buckner.
Buckner was on Curb episodes. Like he embraced it by the end there.
Yeah.
Bartman, I guess if you don't want to embrace it, I get it, but
Yeah.
maybe.
He was getting death threats.
I know.
Like,
it's
Yeah.
fucking
couldn't do it. Do
crazy,
you think the
man.
Cubs had to like give him some sort of severance package? Like
They-
this man couldn't leave his house for
They-
months or years.
they
You think
gave
they had
him-
to pay him.
They gave him a ring when they won.
Oh,
No,
yeah, that's nice.
That's nice of them.
Yeah.
That makes up for the death threats.
Poor
I guess.
Bartman. I feel for the guy.
I do too.
Or Bartman. I agree.
Yeah.
Scumbag Chicago fan.
I just
Shaking
like
my
to
head.
get a beer with him.
Just pick his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine Dog Walk was the first
Yeah.
fucking public appearance.
That'd be pretty crazy.
That would be awesome.
They got
20 years later.
They got Lightfoot. They can get Bartman.
We
I
did get
believe.
Lightfoot.
You got Lightfoot.
We've
right.
had
I miss
Lightfoot
her.
multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I miss her a lot.
I'll maybe I'll do a best of blog. What do you think, Nate?
Dude, she cracked. Everything she did was funny.
Yeah.
Like she's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Simmons, the bowling guy, too.
Don't forget.
Nate, you're up.
All right. Well, I made a long list. Some are very dark. Some are heartbreaking moments. I don't know which way I want to go, but I think there is a very clear number 4 still on the board, and that is Kevin Dyson getting to the 1-yard line in maybe the most memorable final play in Super Bowl history, when the Rams beat the Titans and they came up 1 yard short. I believe in St. Louis, now LA, it's known as the tackle. And yeah, just you can't have your heart ripped out more as a fan of a football team than coming up quite literally 1 yard short of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I thought about going with that in my next pick, so I think it's a great pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on my list too.
Yeah, it is. The more I thought about it this morning, I was like, I cannot imagine the roller coaster of, they had it at the 10 with 6 seconds left, and this is, you work your whole life as a fan to get to that moment, to watch your team win a Super Bowl, and they came up 1 yard short, and I don't know if it gets more heartbreaking than that, because there's not a game 7, there's not another day. That was it.
Oh, and it probably completely changes Steve McNair's legacy and Jeff Fisher's legacy, and Eddie George, all these guys that were great players on those teams. And that was after that they just kept bumping into the Ravens, I feel like, and they were just never got back. But yeah, that's
Ravens.
I mean, I wonder if Jeff Fisher might be in the Hall of Fame if he wins that game.
Oh.
Thank
Oh,
you.
what happened?
What do we
Ravens,
got?
I get it, yeah.
Oh,
There he is.
for Halloween, no less.
All right.
You look awesome.
Who is that?
That's Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven.
He's just a Poe boy from a Poe family, sparing his life from a monstrosity.
Okay.
If I had to ask you guys who made the tackle on that play, would you know the answer?
Is it
Witherspoon?
London?
Nope. Number 52. I had to Google it.
Mike Jones.
Yes.
Mike Jones. Mike Jones.
What a tackle.
Yeah.
He had space, too.
Yeah.
Kevin Dyson had space in the middle of the field. I just looked up the video because I haven't seen it in a while.
I was thinking London Fletcher. Was he even on that team?
Fletcher.
Oh,
That's a
no, that's a
throwback.
Washington boy, right?
But great
Also a
tackle
Dolphin.
there. Yeah. I feel like people don't talk enough about the tackle. Give him his credit. Give him his flowers.
I mean, there's
Mike
angles
Jones.
of it where it looks like he's going to walk in for
Yeah.
the touchdown.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
London Fletcher
team-
was on that
I
team,
like it
Nate.
too.
That team was stacked. The Titans, they had Javon Curse.
Yep, the
What
freak.
an awesome team.
Yeah.
Eddie George, Lorenzo Neal at fullback, Derek Mason, and Kevin Dyson. What a great team.
What's funny is that year the Jacksonville Jaguars were the best team in the NFL. They went 14-2 in the regular season.
Is that Brunel?
Yep. They went 14-2 in the regular season and lost the AFC Championship game.
Was that the year they beat the Dolphins, Dan Marino's last game, beat them by 1,000?
Yes, it was. Yes,
Okay.
it was.
All right,
And,
just wondering.
You're
The
an ass.
Jaguars,
Yeah.
all 3 losses, the Jaguars suffered that season to the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow.
I like that little nugget.
That's a good
Good
nugget.
Nuggets, Tanky.
Yeah, it was
Hey.
Dan Marino's last game, I'm pretty sure.
And it just ruins everything.
Hey, Frank. I believe this was the year of the Music City Miracle as well. Is that right?
No.
Yes, it was.
It
That was
was?
the first. That was the first playoff game in Tennessee Titan history.
Yeah. So like, at least like, hey, there is that. Like, they maybe shouldn't have even been there in the first place.
Frank Wycheck. Shout out to
Yeah.
him.
Well, and they
Lorenzo
didn't,
Neal.
the Bills didn't
Yeah.
play Doug Flutie that day. They should have played Doug Flutie.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
into it last Friday. I had a guy who was on that Bills team.
Oh, that's right.
The Loyola coach.
Yeah.
Listen to Friday's Dog Walk. All right, it's to me. Man, those are 4 strong picks that I would have loved to have, so that's why I hated going 5th.
I'm so glad I picked 4 and not 5 now. Because I would have no idea what to do 5.
All right, I know what I want for both these picks. I'm gonna stay Homer, but I think it carries across the screen to non-Chicago guys, and it's a little different. But Derrick Rose injury.
Yeah.
I almost took that just now, Eddie.
Yeah.
Almost took it. Good pick.
It was devastating. It was
Game 1, was it not?
Yeah, game 1.
Yeah.
1 seed versus the 8 seed, the Sixers. He goes down with like less than 2 minutes left. Shouldn't even been in the game, but Tibbs is gonna Tibbs. And then like he was just never the same. He came back, tore his meniscus against Portland. It was
Never the
just
same.
He was
disaster
yeah.
after disaster.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking to see, especially the second one. May have because you're like, all right, he's gonna come back.
Yeah.
But then once you realize like how when it set in, he was done.
Well,
it was awful.
And it's also like that was the team. That if the Bulls with the Rose, Noah, Dang, like though if that Bulls team was ever going to beat LeBron, it was that year.
Mm-hmm.
And like the window just closed like that. And yeah, it was terrible. And I remember like I don't think this isn't exactly right, but when he was like coming back and getting hurt and coming back, he went like 4 years without a dunk. When he was like the most electrifying player in the league, MVP of the league, flying through the air as this little point guard. And then he literally was never the same. He never dunked for the Bulls again after that injury. It was crazy.
Bad.
He was so freaking good, man.
Yeah.
His dunk on Dragic,
Yeah.
he was gonna be like a generational player, and then that
Yeah.
fucking sucks. He is still kicking around though. He's on the Grizzlies, like he's
Yeah.
still getting minutes.
He's on the Knicks, right?
Yeah,
He was,
He
yeah.
played like 25 minutes last night or something. Like,
Wait, he's in Memphis now?
yeah, he's still.
Yeah. I think he got like a nice, like a kind of a
Contracts.
nice contract. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just that, but he was on his way to being, one of the greatest point guards ever.
And like he's a hometown kid too. Like that was like
Yeah.
part like he was like our kind of savior. And it just
Yep. Awful.
yeah.
Memphis, Derrick Rose.
Yeah, I went to a Knicks game last year, and it was a blowout, and the whole arena, all MSG, was like, Derrick Rose, Derrick Rose. Then he checked in, and the place blew up. It was crazy.
Yeah, he's like a legend.
Yeah, he transferred over to everyone rooting for him. So.
Yeah.
Just absolutely heartbreaking in every sense. To me, my second round pick, before I make my second round pick, I want to talk about this beautiful drink because the Dog Walk is brought to you by Body Armor. Real hydration, real ingredients packed with electrolytes, vitamins, and nothing artificial. Body Armor has great tasting flavors like strawberry, banana, blue raspberry, and I'm really enjoying this peach mango right here. It's a low calorie, 0 sugar added, 20 calories in it, 18 carbs. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and you were feeling a little sluggish today. Then
Yes.
you had one of those, and you've kind of pepped up a little bit.
I do. Obviously being hydrated is part of like
Huge.
getting over a little sick.
Yep.
So that's great. Christian McCaffrey drinks it. Joe Burrow, Ronald Acuna Jr., CeeDee Lamb, Bryce Young. It's great if you're playing and you guys are in the pickup basketball league. I saw you doing a video on Dana. Like I'm sure you guys are just loaded up.
Yeah,
on
we were
Body Armor.
stocked with body armors. Our boy Mulcahy's on the team. He's up there doing sales, all that stuff. He
All
hooked
that
us up. I don't know what he does. He doesn't do sales. He's marketing.
Yeah.
I think he's in partnership marketing or something. I don't know.
I know a player that if we ever,
Uh-oh.
I know somebody that if we ever hire him, will make the Barstool basketball team the best rec league team in New York.
Who's that?
Jenks.
Oh,
He's a baller.
is he
Well, he
asking?
is.
Does he want in?
I watched him play a 2-on-2 game at Rucker Park.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
He played a 2-on-2 game against Rucker Park. He's got handles.
Might need a free
I will
agent
say,
signing.
we already have a professional basketball player under contract. He just has to go play in the NBA, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Shout out Body Armor.
Little
Shout out
pluggy,
Pat
little
Bev.
pluggy for Janksy during the Body Armor ad. I like it.
Do you guys need an athlete, Dana? Do you need You go.
We might need a free agent. Who knows? We got injuries, soreness. We never know.
How's Clemmer as a coach?
Load
Great.
management.
That's great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gonna save my fat ass for the playoffs. Maybe.
I'm looking forward to that. I think we should do baseball. I'll be a great baseball manager.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah,
gotta
you
get a
would,
softball
Tanky.
team going.
Uh,
Be the manager, Tank.
Body armor is available in stores nationwide, but you can find it on Amazon. Head over there right now. Go to the Body Armor store on Amazon and get yours today. All right, I'm up again. Yeah, it's recent, but 28-3 had to be pretty fucking terrible.
Ooh.
Yeah, 28-3 was bad if you're a diehard Falcons guy.
Yeah. And it's like another team that has never had much success. So it's like you're right there, you have it, and then it just slips right through your fingers.
And the number like 28-3 is used in
Yeah.
everywhere now. It's like that is the I can't believe I'm hyping your pick like this, but like that is the staple of blowing a game, 28-3.
And what it is the Patriots played great in the comeback, a great comeback. I mean, you don't want to, but the Falcons just did so many things it's like they got scared.
Yeah.
They got scared, and what's crazy is, I remember that game is they're not taking all the time that they could have taken on their plays.
Yeah.
They're trying to throw the ball downfield instead of running the ball. It's like the Falcons just vapor locked it every way perceivable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Belichick smelled blood and he just went at it.
That game was like watching like the tsunami, where it's just like it's coming in, like you see like the danger in the distance, and you're just like, how high is this water gonna get? And then you fucking drown and you're dead.
I would say that night set the record for the most times people have said, "Is this actually happening? Is this actually gonna happen?" Like my roommate at the time, Patriots fan, we must have said that to each other, I don't know, 1,000 times that night. Just, is this really happening? Like, is this actually going to happen? And then it just happened.
Everything started to pile up and like start going the Pats' way. I mean, I was at a house with like 20 Patriots fans, and everyone was just miserable, like kind of starting to tune out a little bit. And then like one after another, play would go our way. The Edelman catch, the Hightower sack, like it was just a freaking dream. And obviously TB12's the best to ever do it. So great pick. I like that a lot.
Yeah, what is it? Fight, flight, or freeze? It was almost like the Falcons just froze.
Yeah.
Like they had nothing.
Yep.
What I remember is they got down the field and were in field goal range, and just lost yard after yard after yard, and you get the field goal, the game's over.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that they had that like crazy pass to Julio Jones, right? To like put him in field goal, and then I think the Hightower sack might have been after that, right? Is that?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Sacked by
Who
Hightower.
was their coach at that? Was that Quinn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah, that's tough to come back from. I don't know if he got fired or what, but I don't think he lasted long after
I think he
that.
got fired after the next year, I think.
He's in Dallas now.
Yeah, Dallas, D.C., I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Dan Quinn actually was, I think he was defensive coordinator when Seattle won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tough. Just like so
I
many.
will say about this, I don't think I've ever met a diehard Falcons fan in my life.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if I've met. When I see their regular season games, they're not too filled up. But I don't know. I don't know how good of a fan base they have to really have their hearts ripped out. I'm sure there's a ton of them, but it just doesn't seem like they have a large faction of fans.
I think there's only like 3 real sports cities in America. 4.
Okay, go off. What are the 3?
I think it's Boston, east to west, Boston, New York, Philly, Chicago, and no one else really matters. Sorry, Nate.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at Los Angeles. Los Angeles doesn't even care about the NFL. They let every road team come in there and take over the stadium. Baseball games, they come in the 3rd and leave in the 7th.
Yeah. Vegas has gotten into a pretty good sports town.
Yeah, that's also not fair to some of the Rust Belt cities who have gone through hard times, like Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Like they're dying to be charged up again.
Sure, we'll see what the Lions do this year. Yeah.
Nate, you're up.
Oh, buddy. Oh, boy. I should have been prepping instead of chit-chatting. I will take the heartbreak of Gordon Hayward missing the half-court shot versus Duke.
Great pick.
Thank you. I was in the University of Maryland library when that happened, and everybody was stopped studying to watch because we all hated Duke as we were still in the ACC. And in the library, us nerds, heartbroken, and I watching him collapse, the whole thing. I think it's one of the top 5 most memorable heartbreak NCAA tournament moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like they're such a great kind of underdog story too.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I feel like Butler is now pretty established, but back then that was like a miracle run. I think they were like an 8 or a 9 seed, right? Something like that.
Yeah, Brad Stevens,
Yep.
this up and coming coach,
Yeah, at the time they were a mid-conference,
Right. Yeah.
and then they were about to knock off, big bad Coach K and the big bad Duke Blue Devils. It was a perfect story that just,
Hey, because you don't
when
really you
evil
see
won.
Yeah, you see runs, but you never really see them finish the runs. You always see Cinderellas. Like San Diego State made it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Came up pretty
George
short.
Mason,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They almost fucking did it.
Final Four, yeah.
Yeah. So
Pop Mensah Binsu, is that his name?
Pops Mensa Banzu.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Legend.
I guess the only argument against it is just getting there is like kind of a win.
I think that's why it makes it more. I think you just said why it's more heartbreaking, because when you watch an underdog story get there and then lose, it just shatters you into a million pieces.
Yeah.
You don't want to see the good guy lose in the movies and the good guy's lost. Coach fucking K.
Yeah, I like Coach K.
Why?
He's from the neighborhood.
He's
He's a
from-
neighborhood guy.
Yeah. Chicago
All right,
guy.
that's fair. That's fair.
Dana.
Was that on your list, Dana?
No, it was not.
Interesting.
No. All right, I'm gonna tee this up and let me know if this is okay, because I don't know if this get vetoed or not. Tank, I don't even want to talk about it, but I just have to put it out there.
What's happening?
The Mets collapse in 07.
Oh dear.
Do you want to just talk about it, and I'll shut up?
Oh dear.
There's certain songs I hear, and I hear those songs, and it makes me think about that time.
Like what?
I remember a game on Fox Sunday or Saturday baseball, and it was they were playing Tom Petty "Free Fallin'" to Met highlights, and I remember SNY or someone or maybe playing "Wake Me Up When September Ends."
Oh dear.
Those two songs, I've never gotten over it.
How
I-
bad was that collapse? Just for reference, not to rub it in, just for the folks listening.
I have yet to trust the Mets since. I always think the Mets are going to fall apart ever since that moment.
You were just a happy-go-lucky guy back then.
Man, not quite, but
What were the
that
stakes,
was,
Frank?
That
What
was
were the stakes?
that
They
was
were
the
up.
moment that pushed me over the edge.
Yeah.
At the same time, the Patriots are undefeated. The Dolphins were winless. I got into a car accident.
The Mets.
Which one was
the Mets
worse?
put you into a car accident.
It was a minor one. But yeah.
So they had a 7-game lead with 17 to go. That's what I'm reading right now, and they lost 12 of the last.
And this is why Willie Randolph never got another managerial job.
That's tough.
And Willie Randolph said, at one point, our struggles are only going to make the champagne taste sweeter.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Can't say that, Willie.
Can we get more background on the car accident, Frank? Was it your fault?
That was the Mets' fault.
Who's to say?
Mets' fault.
Yeah.
Don't start pointing fingers, Eddie.
It was a minor one. It was I hit the brake a little bit late and I bumped. It was like a fender bender.
Did you get
No
out?
real damage.
Were you yelling at him or no?
No, it was just distracted.
Oh, okay.
Who was the best player on that Mets team?
David Wright, Jose Reyes, Carlos Beltran. That was a loaded team.
Yeah.
I mean, it just the bullpen faltered.
Tom Glavine was on that team, right?
Tom Glavine. Vacation, all I ever wanted. And then they asked him after the game, "Are you devastated?" He goes, "Nope."
Oh, a former coworker of ours was on that team. No kidding.
Who?
Paul LaDuca.
Oh.
Tom Glavine's numbers in that last game of the season. The Mets were tied with the Phillies for the first place last game of the season. Tom Glavine went up against the Marlins. One-third of an inning. He got one out. Allowed 8 runs, including a home run to Dontrell Willis.
Oh, I loved Dontrell. He was
a baller.
he was so sweet.
He was a baller.
He could hit.
I mean, he gave up 8 runs in the first inning.
Ugh.
I mean, and then they asked him after the game, "Are you devastated?" And he went, "Nope."
I hate to have to have brought it up, but it had to go at some point, and I was afraid I wouldn't get it on the wraparound. So, Tank, I had to tee it up there. I really have no other words about it. I think it's a solid pick on my end.
Yeah. And he did take the Mets winning the World Series as the first overall.
And so will that, on the graphic, it'll just say the collapse?
Yeah, I put Mets 07 collapse.
Darkness, my old friend. I come to you again.
Well, you can move it on, but I'm thinking of if I ever got rear-ended by Tank and he just comes at you in the middle of like a Dolphins rant, like that. That's got to be all
Send a
time.
shiver down your spine, boys.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happened in the accident. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Chief.
I will take. I think this game is actually a draw. But USA Colombia 1994. Colombia loses. They don't go forward. The guy dies. They kill him. They kill him for that. So
I remember that.
the Escobar thing. So that's about as bad as it gets. If you end up losing your life because of how you scored on your own goal. So I'll take Escobar. This is like one of my favorite stories. It was a great 30 for 30. I think I've drafted it on something else.
The two Pablos.
With 2 Pablos, yeah.
Yeah, 2 Escobars.
Two Escobars. Two
I
Escobars.
think Team USA won the game 1-0, and the only goal was an own goal.
Yeah, I think you're right, Frank. I think that is right. So, and the guy kicked it in his own net, and he was like this national hero. And like that team was like, I think like one of the top 3 teams ranked in the world at that time, like heavy World Cup favorites. And they lose, and then they kill the guy. So
it's confirmed to collapse, though.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like, if you're like Argentina level, and then you don't get out of the group, and the way that you collapse is you lose to like United States, who fucking sucks, and then they kill you for it. That's pretty bad. So,
Chief, I'm trying to do some quick reading. Could you compare him to a current athlete in terms of skill and or popularity?
Nick Backstrom for you.
Oh, jeez. I don't want that to happen to Nick Backstrom.
Yeah, terrible. You don't remember this? How old are you, Nate?
I was born in 88, so I was 6
you were
when
6.
this happened. I'm old. Dude.
This is like
I'm
one of
old.
my earliest sports memories.
Huh.
Yeah.
His funeral was attended by more than 120,000 people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
Not Pablo Escobar, probably, though.
Damn.
Andres Escobar.
Yeah.
2 Escobars.
Yeah.
It's 2 Escobars.
Yeah.
Two Escobars, yeah.
Frank, you're back up.
Interesting. What a story.
You know, because of that one, I'm going to piggyback it.
Okay.
1980, going back to 1986. How the Red Sox got to the World Series. California Angels were up 3-1. 2 outs. Game 5. Up 3-1. About to win the series 4-1. And their closer, Donnie Moore, comes into the game, gives up the home run to Dave Henderson. Red Sox end up winning the game in extra innings, win the next 2, blow them out in Fenway. And afterwards, Donnie Moore got booed mercilessly in Anaheim. He started like talking about injuries, and he had a big contract. He said a good 85 seasons. So it sounded like a 3 or 4 year contract with the Angels, and he was reviled, hated, and then he had injuries, and basically the Angels thought he was faking the injuries. So he ends up out of baseball.
Damn.
He tried to hook on in '89 with somebody, and he was out of baseball. Meanwhile, he's having trouble with his wife. He tries to leave his wife, and basically, 1989, and this home run he gave up started his downfall. 1989, he's out of baseball. He shoots his wife, and then kills himself.
Whew.
Right.
Dark.
That was like a Steve Mahalik story.
Yeah, I didn't know where that was going.
Why were you
I
laughing,
did not
Dana?
see that one coming.
I'm glad you went dark because I have a few dark ones on my list.
I
wasn't
mean,
sure.
the fact that the sports heartbreak. I mean, it basically the guy, the pitcher who gave up the home run, never recovered. And less than 3 years later, killed himself. His wife, fortunately, survived. His like 15-year-old daughter was able to drive the mother to the hospital, but it was like he like shot his wife and then killed himself.
Fucking Dana's laughing about it over there.
So funny
I'm
about that.
laughing at
You know
the
it's,
turn it took because I didn't know a single lick of this information.
Hey, we're gonna go back
I
to
didn't
Bill.
see it coming.
I
dude.
know.
We're going to go back to Bill Buckner for a second and about how brutal the press can be sometimes. Like about a year later, a reporter in Boston, bent up to Bill Buckner at that time, says, "Bill, did you ever think about doing that yourself?"
Whoa.
Jesus Christ, man.
Oof.
I didn't know
I
we
guess
were
that
in for
shows
a...
that maybe fans should be a little nicer to these athletes.
Meh.
Nope.
Oh,
I didn't know we were going to get hit by an encyclopedia deep cut like that.
I
Yeah.
didn't either. I can't keep just realizing that he doesn't have any prep. He's just brain. Frank's just brain right now. I love that, man. So impressive.
All right, Frank, what are you cooking up here for?
Pick 11.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back before any of you have anyone gone to go back to first back yet. 1951, 3-game playoff for the National League pennant between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants.
Of course.
And Dodgers up, 9th inning, and Bobby Thompson hits a
Shocker.
walk-off 3-run homer off Ralph Branca to send the Giants to the World Series. And this is arch rivals. Two most hated rivals at that time was the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants. I mean, Brooklyn Dodger fans hated the Giants. Giants hated the Dodgers. And it was so much that the Brooklyn Dodger fans would always call the Homer the Giants played the polio grounds. I mean, it was just two New York teams that just hate each other. And the rivalry still lives with San Francisco and LA, but it wasn't the same as it is when you're just
When you're
a
neighbors.
few miles away.
Yeah.
A couple subway changes. And it was a great rivalry. The Giants actually came from 13 games back in July to win the pennant and the force a tie. And that was and it was at a time when New York dominated baseball, where between 1947 and 56, all but 1 year the World Series was played in New York, and all but 1 year a New York team won the World Series. With the Yankees winning 5 in a row, followed by the Giants in 54 and the Dodgers in 55. Where it was just like New York was the heart of baseball. Everything was in New York. And for that moment, the Giants win the pennant. Bobby Thompson off Ralph Branca.
Who was the only team to not win one? Or not non-New York team to win it, I should say, from that.
The Cleveland Indians broke through in 48.
Okay.
So it was 47 and then 49 to 56, all New York teams.
I have all the faith in the world that this is a great pick. I don't think it's going to play on the graphic.
shot heard around the world.
Yeah, that's what it was called. Yeah. It's a famous call.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Giants announcer that it's like.
Can you recreate it?
Probably one of the oldest, most famous calls, and it's like. Bobby Thompson, it's a long drive. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants win the pennant.
Oh, I know
the
that
Giants
one.
win the pennant.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tank.
It took me a long time to pick up on that, yeah.
Yeah. I take
And
back my statement.
48 was the last time Cleveland won a World Series, which also is that's up there with like the Bills losing 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And the 54 World Series with the Giants and
The Orioles.
Cleveland Indians and Giants. And game 1, by the way, the Yankees won 103 games that year, more than they won the 5 years they won their championships. But the Indians won 111 games, went to the World Series. In Game 1, Vic Wertz hits a ball 510 2 feet to center field, run down by Willie Mays. They lose the game when Dusty Rhodes, a pinch hitter, came up in the 10th inning and hit one down the left field line off the foul pole, 280 feet away.
Damn. That's baseball for you, though.
Yeah.
How was that Polo Grounds? It was weird, right? Was that Polo
The
Grounds?
Polo Ground dimensions were just the strangest baseball dimensions. If I ever get a chance, whenever I've played it like maybe once on a video game, it's like the weirdest dimensions and the weirdest looking stadium there ever was.
Yeah.
All right, Chief, you're up.
All right. I think this one might be a personal one, but I remember being devastated. It was the Bush Push. So, like, Notre Dame, I'm a big Notre Dame fan. They had never really done anything. They get Charlie Weiss. They have game day there. They're wearing the green uniforms. They're playing big bad USC at their peak. It was Reggie Bush. It was Lioners, Dwayne Jarrett, all those guys. Notre Dame had them. SC's backed up inside. I want to say the drive started inside their own 10. They had the one long pass to Jarrett, and then you thought that they were going to still manage to have a goal line stand, and then it was the Bush Push, which was back then. That was cheating. And yeah, Notre Dame.
Still should be cheating. I'm tired of seeing the Eagles with this damn push. I mean, there was one play last week where basically 2 players like lifted Hurts up and pushed him over the line. That's not right. That's not in the spirit of the law.
Let me ask you something. If the Dolphins were doing the same exact thing, would you be okay with it? If the results were the same?
I think if the Dolphins were doing it, they would outlaw it.
You think so?
Yes.
I agree with
So it's
that.
collusion. It's collusion, boys.
and of course we got the referee that was singing "Fly Eagles Fly" as he threw 10 flags against the Dolphins and none on the Eagles, even though there is a place where basically the receiver for the Dolphins had his face mask pulled.
Saw that, yeah.
I mean, it was. They had at the end of the game they had the referee singing "Fly Eagles Fly," just like yeah. Screw the Eagles. Fuck the Eagles. Fuck Philadelphia.
He was listening to the Rocky music before the game in his headphones.
Do you think that's
Right,
going to be a Super Bowl preview, Tank?
I don't know. Dolphins got to get that defense a little fixed up.
Okay. So it's not as bad as you felt on immediately after the game where you said they're going to miss the playoffs.
I'm still pissed off.
Okay.
The Dolphins need to beat a good team. I mean, they better beat the Patriots this weekend. I mean, don't let that don't fall asleep. I know they got to go to Germany on November 5th.
Is it true you will be going to Germany as well?
No, I couldn't find a ticket package.
Son of a bitch. I thought we were breaking news. I thought you were going.
Nope. I'm actually going to be in Chicago that day, going to watching the game somewhere in Chicago, and then
Chief will be watching from home.
And then I'll be going
I'll go up in the
that
300
night.
section.
That night, I'm going to Devils Blackhawks at the United Center.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll see you there.
If you're lucky.
Probably
You're
lucky,
lucky. Dana, you're up.
All right, I have so many that I like. I'm going to go something close to my heart, though. 07-08 season, Pats Giants, David Tyree. Man, that sucked. That just really sucked. Eli, they should have called him down. He gets out of... How did he catch that ball?
Perfect fill.
Oh, his
Population.
freaking bubble gum
one.
on his head, on his helmet. Plaxico Burris in the end zone. It's just that in the heart. I know we were lucky. We had 3 Super Bowls before that, but it was just perfect season on the line. 16-0. Tom Brady's setting records. There was never supposed to be a game in the Super Bowl. It was supposed to be a blowout. It was supposed to be the perfect season. David Tyree, man, that sucked.
As a Patriot fan, would you trade a loss that season in Week 14 to whoever they played Week 14? Say a loss to the Jets in the regular season for that Super Bowl win?
Of course.
You see, what happened was...
Wait, hold on. Are you asking if he would trade a regular season?
I don't care
then
about
you're not a perfect season.
I'm okay with
But
that.
they
Not
lost the Super
having the
Bowl
perfect
anyway.
season. As
Yeah,
long as we
but
win the Super
like...
Bowl.
What happened
It wasn't
was-
a perfect season.
What happened was, and it's why the 72 Dolphins are the greatest football team that ever lived, because the pressure of going undefeated when it comes to the playoffs is immense.
I'll take 18-1 and a Super Bowl any day of the week.
Yeah,
I don't care about
Yeah.
the perfect
But,
season.
like,
And the Miami
is-
Dolphins are the only ones to go undefeated in regular season, undefeated in playoffs. They
Yeah.
stand alone.
Is that
Mercury
confirmed?
Morris.
Perfect,
He never
Perfectville,
start-
population 1, and every year the surviving Dolphins, and sadly every year there seems to be fewer and fewer of them,
Mercury
have a
Morris.
champagne toast.
yeah.
He never shuts up about it.
All right,
I
but
love his rap song about it.
Dana, I don't know if you take that over the other Super Bowl losses if they weren't perfect going in. Like the perfect going in is what makes it such a heartbreak. To Frank's point.
Yeah, but I'll take a Super Bowl over
Yeah. Yeah.
anything. I mean, it was, it sucked. It just felt like we should have never been in that position to start. But Eli Manning, he did it, man.
Yeah.
He beat us
I-
twice.
I remember seeing a clip where they were interviewing Tom Brady like on media day, and someone was like, "Oh, I can't remember what the exact question was, but it was like, well, what, something if they hold you to 17 points." He's like, like laughing, like, hold us, the Patriots to 17. He's like, like next question, like, and then that's kind of what it was, bro, wasn't it?
The
The
17?
one thing I think about that Super Bowl is Eli Manning did not deserve the Super Bowl MVP. Maybe he had made a couple of good plays on the end. That Super Bowl MVP should have gone to Justin Tuck. Because the defense the Giants played in that game is why they won the game.
Yeah.
It was also during a time when it was just the Celtics won that year. I think the Sox won that year in 07. Imagine all three of them. I mean, it was just. I know I'm spoiled, so
I'm
I don't
really-
want to say
I'm
like,
really
whoa.
sorry for your
I'm
loss,
just
Dana.
saying, how cool would it have been to have. I'm sorry. I'm sounding like a douchebag.
Yeah, sounds cool.
That's my pick. That's my pick.
Super tough for Dan.
Sounds sick. Nate.
Man, I have been deciding between two this whole time, but I am going to go with when an entire city was stabbed in the back and left weeping and heartbroken on the bathroom floor, and that is The Decision by LeBron James.
I remember Eddie has a take on this, and it was wrong. I forget what it is, but it's wrong.
A lot of people were mad at me for that.
Say it.
Say it, please.
Well, I agree. It was what was that draft, like the biggest disasters?
Yeah, it was like the Titanic. And
Yeah,
like all
so,
that.
yeah. Dana took like the Titanic, the Hindenburg.
Then you took the decision.
Yeah.
Is the biggest Titanic.
Do you
guy.
remember?
It was my niche in the dozen.
Do you remember they had that video, like all these Cleveland celebrities, to the tune of "We Are the World," were singing, "Please stay, LeBron. We really need
I
you."
recall.
And they had like politicians, like senators. They said the governor of Ohio, for crying out loud. It was so cringy. It was almost like Cleveland was the clingy girlfriend that LeBron needed to get away from.
Yeah, I mean, when the hometown kid went on ESPN and stabbed the city that worshipped him right in the back to go to Miami, and businesses closed, children died. It's I mean, this could have gone 1-1, I think, for the impact it had on Cleveland.
I said
Except for
similar
one day.
stuff minus children dying and businesses
No, that
closing.
happened. Children die every day.
Well, true. But yeah, I hated the decision.
The only thing though is he did come back and actually did get them to an NBA championship.
It was just, but yeah, like, and then he left again. Like LeBron treats that city like dirt. He treats them like absolute trash.
It was heartbreak. Any way you slice it. That was the disaster
was.
draft. This is the heartbreak draft. If you were a Cavs
Also,
fan,
like in the moment too, at the time, it was such a huge moment, and I don't think there was no like social media. There was no real like whispers of him going to Miami. It was like a shocking moment. It was really like people were devastated and just nobody saw it coming. 'Cause
Yeah.
nobody thought that he would go on ESPN and do this whole dog and pony show to stab his city in the back. And then he was just like, yeah, I'm taking my talents to South Beach, which is, now a very famous quote. But I just remember at the time, nobody expected it to be Miami. Like, nobody.
Yeah, I mean, he was flirting pretty hard with Chicago at that point too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Is that
it.
when you got Melo instead?
What?
Is that when you got Melo instead?
No, we got
No.
Carlos Boozer
We got-
instead.
yeah.
though.
Carlos Boozer.
Okay. Because I remember Dan making hot. Oh, that's way. That's way.
Well, the
No.
Knicks tried for him and then they got Melo.
Yeah.
yeah. You a Melo guy, Frank?
Not really.
No. Just
Well, you're-
'cause he's not a winner.
You're a Nets guy, right?
He wins for
I
America.
was a Nets guy. Now I'm a Knicks guy.
He's a Knicks fan.
Oh, you
I
flipped.
flipped.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just so tired of just the incompetence in that state. And you go to the arena; it's a depressing arena.
It is.
They should have never left New Jersey.
Yeah. And
Well-
then Kyrie was a Nazi. That didn't help.
Yeah, that didn't help either.
Yeah, not great. Well, at least you got Jack Hughes.
Dude, he's so good.
That was the biggest.
You know, he
fuck up
has 17 points already
I saw you had
in,
4
in
assists the
6
other night.
games.
Yeah. And he's
Yeah,
so good.
he's pretty good.
All right, back to me. Obviously, like I can go personal, and that means the most to me. But I think I'm trying to think the most well-rounded. I hope this one hits because it's pretty fucking bad, and also I didn't like it. It was a little personal because it helped the Cardinals, but the Rangers losing
That was
one
bad.
strike away
Twice.
twice.
Yeah.
Losing a World Series back-to-back, one strike away is pretty fucking awful. I mean,
They're the only team that's ever had that.
yeah,
Yeah.
162 games a year, and you go all the way to lose it back-to-back years, one strike away is awful.
Yeah.
Is this Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a really good pick, Eddie.
Yeah. Great pick.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
strong.
it's because it's the Rangers. It's not talked about a lot, but yeah, that's one of the more devastating things that can happen to a fan base.
One strike away.
2 different times.
Twice.
That was game 6,
Well, it was
right?
twice in the consecutive inning. It was the 9th and 10th inning.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And Nelson Cruz basically misplayed the ball, and that was the difference.
Yeah. Bad. Just
Yeah.
bad.
What's David Freese doing these days?
That was the
He's
whole
still
thing.
playing?
Shining his World Series ring, probably.
Declining invitations to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Doesn't want to
Oh,
be.
yeah.
That was so
That guy
bizarre.
fucking sucks.
Cardinals Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Not the Hall of Fame, sorry.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go with another one here, too. And I'm very curious how Dana reacts to this. I'm curious how the room reacts to it because it's a little outside the box. But obviously, I'm a Cubs guy. And I lived and died with the Cubs, but I was very invested in the Yankees-Red Sox rivalries throughout that decade, too. When Johnny Damon went to the Yankees, that was heartbreaking. That was like the idiot goes, shaves his beard. Like, that guy was the face of the Red Sox to me growing up.
Really?
Kind of, yeah.
He
I don't-
wasn't really.
I don't agree
To
with
me,
that.
he was like
He
the
was
guy.
top 4.
Well, I mean, they had that
Like, sure, Manny was better. Like, don't get me
Pedro.
David
wrong.
Ortiz,
Pedro,
Pedro,
sure.
Manny and
Schilling,
Pedro, yeah.
Nomar.
Sure, all right.
No
all right.
harm.
Maybe he's not the face, but to me, he was someone who was like he was just so Red Sox.
Can
Even though
I
know
help
he-
you out?
Even though I know he played with the Royals too, and I know he had a career earlier than that.
Can I help you out?
Yeah.
He was the Dragon Slayer, the Game 7 hero, where he had that in 04. He had the Grand Slam.
Grand Slam.
And then I think he had another home run in that game. In that Game 7.
did.
I think he had 2 home
He had
runs in
great
Game 7,
Game
04.
7.
So, yeah, like that's.
That was back when like turncoating
Man.
meant something. Like Red Sox fans were mad.
Fun fact: Johnny Damon DM'd me once about a what are those things where it's like the money sign and then
Stocks?
I guess it was money sign beers, and he said, "Hey Dana, I heard your team money sign beers. Can I set you up with my team for a short call?"
Sick.
I never went anywhere. But I know what you're saying, Eddie. It was a heartbreaking thing, and I don't think it was the face, but he was like top 3 face, and he was one of the guys that meant so much to Sox fans, and then to see him kind of head over to the hated rival was heartbreaking.
Dude, shocking to
just
see
wish-
that side by side of him with the long hair and the beard, and then in that press
Yes.
conference.
With a thumbs up,
Yeah,
where he like,
Yes.
crazy.
yeah, puts
I
the
know.
the pinstripes on and gives the thumbs up.
I just wish the friggin' rivalry was still good these days.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
There's not enough hate in the
nothing.
world.
There's nothing.
So yeah, I think that was a little outside the box, but I think it was
No, I like that.
a heartbreaker
Yeah.
for Red Sox fans. Anywhere else, Johnny? Anywhere else? Nate, you're up.
Okay. I am going to go with one of the earliest golf memories of my life. I was 11 years old, and I remember it being a thing, and I didn't completely understand it at the time, and I just remember watching it on. I can picture the TV in the living room. That's not important. It's John Van de Velde, the '99 Open Championship. He needed, for the kids at home, he needed a double bogey to win, and he tripled. and it's probably the most famous blow up, meltdown, whatever you want to call it, in professional golf history. You might know the famous picture of him barefoot just trying to get the ball out of the water. It's just it's I don't know why, but that moment has stuck with me since I was a child. And then it wasn't until much later in life I learned that was actually like a huge sports golf meltdown moment.
I remember watching it and laughing.
That doesn't shock me, Frank.
You know what the
That
problem
was
was?
one of the best days of your life.
You know the problem was he was French, so he surrendered
Oh.
the lead.
Dear. Oh, dear.
Smiling.
That was an evil laugh, Frank.
That is that to me is like one of the funniest things, the funniest moments in sports. I still chuckle at him.
He never won a major, though.
He never did it. He never won it.
it.
He never even come close again. I mean, just
his chance.
such a meltdown. Just such a. If he would have dropped the ball and taken the penalty stroke, he would probably have won.
Yeah.
You think SVP
Movies
was
have
smiling?
been modeled after that meltdown.
SVP was probably smiling, right, Frank?
I know I was.
You're Uber Eats.
Jean van der Voort.
You have no sympathy for the guy? He never won a major after this.
He never even was close to winning a major before. Never was close again.
He's
Poor
always-
fella.
Yeah.
All right, Dana.
I feel like I'm pretty chalk so far, and I kind of want to keep chalking it.
Okay.
But I have one that I really like because I watched it live. I'm just going to go with this. I could probably get it next round, but I don't care. Did you guys watch the Texas A&M NCAA tournament game when they were up 12 with 44 seconds left?
Yeah.
Was
and
that
they blew it, and
who
they
was-
went to double overtime and lost?
was that against Northern Iowa?
Yes.
Yes.
2016.
Yes.
Up 12 with 40. You know how ridiculous that is?
That's
to
like
lose
impossible.
That game? Yes. I remember I was watching it live. It was the year before I started at Barstool, so I wasn't at the office. But regardless, Caruso was on that team. There was another NBA guy on that team. They just kept getting steals. Northern Iowa ran out of timeouts. They couldn't get the ball inbounds, and they sent it to overtime. They went to double overtime, and they lost. You can't blow a 12-point lead with 44 seconds. If you watch the highlights, it's almost like every single thing had to go right for Texas A&M, and it did. They just couldn't get the ball in bounds. They got Texas A&M. I think Northern Iowa scored once within that 44 seconds, but to make up that type of ground, I think most teams probably wouldn't even try fouling at that point. So, the biggest collapse I've ever seen live, basketball-wise. Crazy game. Shout out Alex Caruso too. Bulls guy.
Bull's great.
Yeah.
Is he still on the team?
Yeah.
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 Definitely one of the biggest collapses I've ever seen. Biggest heartbreak, first round, under seed.
That's why I don't love it, but I wanted to get that out because I remember watching it live and just being like, if I'm a Texas A&M fan, I don't know if I can ever watch this sport again. Yeah, that's probably a reach, but whatever.
Well, Northern Iowa lost, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Northern Iowa
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
I mean, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very tough. It's just like I said, collapse and heartbreak. But regardless, that's a very memorable game that people forget about. People should not forget about that.
It's a memorable game that everyone forgets about.
Yeah. I didn't know it like that. Yeah.
I'm telling you, you gotta look at the highlights.
It's crazy.
It is.
I
It's a
remember
great
watching
watch.
it, and I had them in a Calcutta, I think, that year. So I was like, "Oh, nice, we're moving on." And then I couldn't believe what I saw.
It's heartbreaking for people that had Northern Iowa going far in their brackets. How about that?
Sure.
Probably a lot of those. Yeah.
Chief, you're up.
I'll take the 98 Vikings where you had Gary Anderson. That was like the most explosive offense ever. Minnesota has just they're like perpetual heartbreak, but that team with Moss and Carter and Randall Cunningham, they're so excited. They're bombing the ball everywhere, and 15-1 home game for the NFC Championship. One of the greatest kickers ever, and he misses it, and they lose the game. And the Falcons go to the Super Bowl, and like it's just like it was right there for them if they were ever gonna. That's another team that's lost 4 Super Bowls in their history, if they were ever going to do it, it was going to be that year, and they never really had that magic again, never got back. So I'll take the 98 Vikings, maybe like the most fun team ever.
They scored a ton of points.
I think they set the record, which has since
Ton
been
of
broken.
Yeah.
But they did have like the most points scored ever by an offense that year.
It's a fun pick.
Got anything on that, Frank?
Any memes?
I think that the Vikings would have value spent a better Super Bowl. I mean, the Falcons got Eugene Robinson getting busted for soliciting a prostitute the night before, and then the next morning he got toasted.
Yeah.
Got burnt to a crisp as the John Elway that was such a boring Super Bowl too.
Yeah. And I think that was like the Dirty Bird, Jamal Anderson Falcons. But
Yeah.
do you think that's entrapment, Frank? Because didn't he solicit
Probably.
an undercover
Probably.
cop? Like,
Probably.
yeah, I think that's entrapment.
Frank, you were up.
All right. Well, you're upset about LeBron James leaving Cleveland, Johnny Damon stabbing Boston in the back and going to the Yankees. Well, how about an entire team leaving?
Okay.
You know, the Nets tried to move to Brooklyn and try to build a fan base here. There's no fan base there. Everyone in Brooklyn is already a Knicks fan. And they're not going to become Nets fans overnight. It's never going to happen now. It's never going to happen. 98% of New York roots for the Knicks. 1% roots for other teams, and maybe 0.5% roots for the Nets. Nobody cares about the Nets in New York. Nobody cares about the Nets in Brooklyn. They got a small fan base in New Jersey, but that's dwindling. I'm talking about the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Ooh.
They were Brooklyn. You look at war movies from the 40s and 50s. There's always the guy from Brooklyn, and what's he talk about before he dies heroically? He talks about wanting to go back to and watch the Dodgers play. This is Jackie Robinson. He broke the color barrier at Ebbets Field. He didn't do it in L.A. He did it in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was the heart of the team, and they never won. They always had their heart broken by the Yankees. They lost to the Yankees like 7 times before finally breaking through and winning the 1955 World Series. They were the heart of the team. They were the soul of the team. They were the soul of the whole borough of Brooklyn. The Yankees were in the Bronx, but the Giants were in Manhattan, but they were in New York. Everyone in New York. Brooklyn, the Dodgers, it was the whole borough. It was the everything. The players lived in the neighborhood. They say hi. They shopped at the same grocery stores. They stopped at the same clothing stores. Some of them even worked off-season jobs. Everyone knew the team. Everyone loved the team. Everyone messed with the team. And because the guy, county commissioner, state commissioner, city commissioner, they wouldn't let them build a new ballpark in Brooklyn. They got a new ballpark in Los Angeles and left. They moved. They left. No more next year. They're gone for good. And the borough of Brooklyn has never recovered from the Brooklyn Dodgers leaving. I mean, the Mets came along, and I can tell you being a Mets fan is not fun. There's never been fun being a Mets fan, except for maybe 2 years. And then it's heartbreak and just frustration, anger, and just let you down in so many ways possible. I mean, when I die, I want the Mets to be my pallbearers so they can let me down one more time. But the Brooklyn Dodgers, I mean, it would be like the Packers picking up and moving to Los Angeles.
I wouldn't hate that.
Because the Packers, that relationship the Packers have with the city of Green Bay is what the Brooklyn Dodgers had in Brooklyn. And it just if you think about it, that has got to be the most heartbreaking moment. It it's so bad, and the fact that Brooklyn has never recovered, never regained its identity.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Sick.
Good eulogy.
They built like a housing project on top of where Ebbets Field was, right?
Yeah, same with the Polo Grounds,
Yeah.
actually.
Wow. Couldn't
pick,
find no
Frank.
room in Coney Island for him. That's a shame.
So you're if you could go back and change history, Frank the Tank would be a Brooklyn Dodgers fan?
Probably.
Yeah. The Mets just never exist.
Mets never exist. Brooklyn Dodgers probably.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
That's
crazy.
huge.
Your whole life could be different. That's like a butterfly effect thing.
And just think about this. When the Dodgers left, they had a rookie who was struggling, but he wasn't. He was a raw rookie. He didn't become a star yet. Sandy Koufax, who grew up in those neighborhoods. He is from Brooklyn.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. In fact, Fred Wilpon was his neighbor and best friend growing up, and they were on the same high school baseball team.
Wow.
All right, Tank, you could lead us into the 5th round here.
And the 5th round, I'm actually going to go personal with this one.
All right. Seton Hall.
Seton Hall, 1989, made it all the way to the NCAA championship game, playing Michigan. Michigan had their coach quit just before the tournament, and they had an interim coach take them to the championship game. Final game goes to overtime. Seton Hall has a 1-point lead in the final seconds. And the goddamn motherfucking referee calls a phantom foul. Michigan hits both shots, wins the damn game by 1 point. This championship was stolen from Seton Hall by the damn referee.
I had that on my list.
It's bullshit, Frank.
Yeah.
That you lose a championship game on a awful call, final seconds, just sickening. And Seton Hall's never been back to the Final Four.
I feel like they've only been to the tournament a couple times since then. PJ
No,
Carlson.
they've had some tournament years.
Yeah.
They haven't been to Sweet 16 in years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible.
Angel
I didn't know that you were a Seton Hall guy. Did you go to Seton Hall?
No,
No.
too expensive.
Okay.
Though a distant cousin was once president of Seton Hall.
Oh.
Montclair State at the Rat.
Yep.
So Frank went.
Yeah, Monsignor Ed Fleming was president of Seton Hall. And this is no joke.
Couldn't get you in on Legacy? Come on.
Well, he's a priest, so it's
Dicey.
dicey.
All right.
Fair
Dana,
enough.
Dana, any thoughts about 89 Seton Hall championship?
89, man.
You took your pick.
Anything that Frank says about sports, I trust is right. So if he says it's heartbreaking, and that's a fact.
No, when a ref decides a game, you just want the boys to play it out themselves. You hate when Stripes gets involved.
Yes, of course. We played basketball last night. There was a foul every 30 seconds.
Really?
Just let the boys play.
Were people yelling at the
a ref? There's nothing worse than a ref show. I'm serious. So I got called for 3 in the key, Tank, 4 times. You know how hard that is to do? I wasn't standing in the paint for 3 seconds all 4 times, maybe once.
Yeah, those referees that, and I really think that they actually think that you go there to see them.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's some like baseball umpires that they want to see the lights drop, and in here, and now your umpires at first base, CB Bucknor. At second base. In the offseason, he's playing old country tunes. But here he is now, Joe West.
Woo!
At third base.
Yeah, we're doing the whole down.
At third base. Yes, that's right.
Who is it?
He lives in the Sopranos neighborhood and acts like he's a soprano. Phil Cuzzy! And your favorite umpire, the greatest umpire of all time, behind home plate, Angel Hernandez!
Beautiful.
Eddie, you ever heard of a guy getting called for 3 seconds 4 times in a game?
I don't know. I never
on.
heard that. Never heard.
What are we doing here? You just let the fellas play.
It's a lot. 4 times.
We don't
That's
need ref
fucking
shows.
brutal.
Oh, man.
Chief, you're up.
I'm going with a personal one too. I'm taking. I feel like this is going to be the one that gets me left off the graphic, but I'm still not really over it. But 2016 Blackhawks lose the arch rival Game 7 against the St. Louis Blues. Seabrook he invented the double doink in Chicago. He went post to post and out, and then they lost in overtime. They have not won a single playoff game since. So that was like the end of the Blackhawks dynasty. It's the last time I've really enjoyed a team, enjoyed watching sports.
I got
No.
nothing for you there.
You won 3 in 5 years.
Yeah,
Three. You won 3.
But it's still 3 in my entire life. You've won 1 World Series, Frank. What are you crying about?
But that was 3 in a brief period of time.
Yeah,
that was a great era for the Blackhawks.
It should have been like 6, but they fucked it up, and that was the end of the era. You don't. When you have an empire that collapses, you don't mourn it a little bit. That was like the greatest. That was the greatest sports time in my life.
That's like
it ended so abruptly.
That would be like a Yankee fan coming in here and writing about the 2001 World Series.
Yeah, but then they were still relevant and good for a long time. They won it in 2009 again.
Well, you can't blame it's poor management.
Yeah, it was poor management. It was
and
poor
now
management.
Now you got another superstar. In a couple of years, you're going to be good again.
You think he's going to be better than Jack Hughes?
I don't know. But Connor Bedard, he's going to be I think he's more right now of an Austin Matthews type.
I would settle for that. 40 goals a year. That'd be nice.
All right. Dana, you are up.
All right. I'm going to do a little Frank the Tank reverse psychology, whatever you want to call it here. Pats Seahawks 2015. Run the ball with Marshawn. Simple as that. Malcolm Butler. Friggin' dude, just an all-time happy moment in my head that I'll have for the rest of my life. The Malcolm Butler interception was joy that you can't describe. Why aren't you running the ball with Marshawn? Simple as that. Dante Hightower gets the tackle a couple plays before. Just got to be heartbreaking for Seahawks fans. You know,
what's funny is it's more and more stuff's come out about that. That basically it was like, not only were they nervous about having Marshawn Lynch be the Super Bowl MVP, which he would have been if he would have punched it in, is that the Seahawks didn't want to deal with Russell Wilson not being the hero, because Russell Wilson is like. I mean, a lot of players on that Seahawks team have come out, but basically they hate Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Marshawn has said
and it's
that.
Like everyone has come out and said that basically Pete Carroll didn't want to deal with Russell Wilson not getting the winning touchdown pass, and that's why he had that touchdown. He called for a pass.
I think Marshawn just said he laughed in Pete Carroll's face after that play happened because he was like so disgusted by the play call.
Yeah, and like a lot of these Seahawks knew the reason was because to placate with Russell Wilson.
Sad.
That's fucked up.
Really sad.
For the pick itself,
not a fan.
They won one.
If you're a
before,
Seahawks
too.
fan, you're not a.
Yeah,
you're
but
not,
there's like 9 of those, right? Like it didn't.
I got the 12th man.
they stole. Yeah, I don't know.
They did win the year before, so they would have been going for 2 in a row.
Do I have a bad draft? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Do you guys like the pick?
It's okay. It's definitely one of the biggest blunders, one of the biggest coaching mistakes
Yeah, I think
ever. Now,
I
heartbreak,
feel confident
like
about
they
my
already
draft
had
board.
one.
Yeah, I feel like the Titans. This is similar to the Titans one, but the Titans one's more heartbreaking.
Strong disagree. Heavy disagree. Not even comparable.
Okay.
All right, Nate, you're up.
My final pick, right?
Yep.
I would say my final pick is similar to if Batman joined forces with the Joker. It would be like Frank joining forces with the Libs. It's when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO at Bash at the Beach, 1996. And I don't say that lightly. This was on the news. This was on SportsCenter. This was everywhere. When Hulk Hogan, America's hero, became a bad guy, it sent waves through pop culture, sports, and entertainment. It's hard to compare it to another moment how shocking it was at the time for Hulk Hogan to become not just the bad guy, the worst guy. It broke every child in America who was told to take their vitamins heart. You remember it like it was yesterday, Frank. You were probably in tears.
Well, actually,
I know you're not a wrestling guy.
I kind of was a wrestling guy a little bit back then, but early internet days I was on we had the old internet chat boards, This was rumored to be happening.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, nobody knew.
Yes, it
This is
was.
classic Frank.
Yes,
trying
it
to
was. I
torpedo
remember.
my pick.
I remember.
Nobody knew. It was the
didn't-
biggest secret
It
in
was
the
no
history
secret.
of the world. Yes,
It was no
Frank.
secret.
Yes, it
There
was.
were rumors that it was going to happen, and
I
it
will
did
not
happen.
tolerate
Yes.
this made-up history that you're doing right now.
There were rumors that it was coming.
They're doing twisted history in that studio, Frank. You can go talk your nonsense in there.
It was on chat boards that it was coming.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was
Yes, it
definitely
was.
on the chat boards. I was more
Zero chat boards.
I was more shocked when Johnny Damon left. To be honest, that was
Oh,
more shocking. Everybody knew Hulk Hogan was on his way out.
Hulk Hogan.
Chief, you don't even know the
It
fucking
was
story.
1996.
Yeah,
It was 1990. Was 96? Was 1996?
96, Bash at the Beach.
Yeah, so it was 96.
You remember the chat board like it was yesterday.
The Hulk Hogan, the good guy arc had gone tired and old, and it was a new era of wrestling was starting. This is right around the time where Rocky Maivia is starting up and is getting booed for being the good guy. This is when that ECW is the underground wrestling, and at that time, that's what I was actually watching. I was watching ECW at midnight on the MSG network because I liked that better than anything else. Edgier was becoming the trend, and a Hulk Hogan change had to happen because he had become stale.
Nobody saw it coming.
Everyone saw it.
it was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, listen, I like you going wrestling.
You don't even know who Hulk Hogan is, I don't think.
Everyone knows Hulk Hogan. Frank, did you have AIM, and what was your AOL AIM messenger name?
Or like your original Prodigy or Hotmail
Yeah.
account.
Might have been like Frank F99.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like you were so early to the internet, you probably just had like Frank at AOL.com.
Yeah, yeah.
You're super early.
Oh, it's a good pick, Nate.
It's a great pick before these assholes try to torpedo it.
Yeah, I didn't even think wrestling. There's heel turns were definitely heartbreakers as a kid, for sure.
I mean, I don't want to undersell how massive of a wrestling story to the point it got into pop, like, general pop culture and the news that Hulk Hogan became a bad guy.
Yeah. All right, it's to me, Mr. Irrelevant. Now, like, I don't know. Do I go personal?
Yes.
Yeah, I
feel,
just did.
I feel like I kind of already did with Derrick Rose, though.
So, I mean, there's a big personal one on the board that is very draftable.
It could be one of two. I'm between one and two personals. I think I might swerve, though, and take a national one. And I know you guys will hate it.
Hate it.
No, take it. Now I want to hate you.
If I go personal, obviously it's Mark Pryor or the Double Doink. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
But
All
this,
right, go national now.
I'm going to go national. Those are honorable mentions. Personal, Mark Pryor, I still think about him all the time. Jose Fernandez's death
Okay.
was awful. I was working at a sports company at the time, so I was watching a lot of baseball at that time. Like, he was so fucking good and electric, and like him to die in the middle of the season was heartbreaking. I mean,
Yeah.
first death.
It's the definition of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Eddie, I have other deaths on my list, but I was playing it by ear because if someone else took a death, I was gonna start, the domino.
I took a death.
Who did you take?
Took that Colombian guy, Andres
Yeah,
Escobar.
true.
Fucking dead.
I know one that was basically Thurman Munson, New York Yankees captain.
Yep.
On an off day was trying, and he was a pilot in the. So he did some flying as his hobby. He hated being away from his family in Ohio, so he wanted to buy a jet, so he could, on every off day or any time he had a chance, he could fly from New York or New Jersey to Canton, Ohio. So he's taking flying lessons, and he's flying all around the Canton airport all day long, and then on the last flight he clips a tree and crashes, and he's the only one of the four people in the plane that died. It was a small little Cessna type of plane, and he got pinned in the plane, and they couldn't pull him out, and he also was paralyzed. So he basically told the guy, get out, save yourselves, and he ended up basically he burned to death.
Jesus.
And it's like it's a moment that that is like ingrained in like Yankee culture. The Yankees retired his number up until they moved to the new stadium. They kept his locker preserved as it was the day he died, and
Wow.
he probably would be in the Hall of Fame had he continued his career.
That's terrible.
If we're doing stuff like this,
are we
I
doing
can't believe we
honorable
didn't
mentions
fucking take
now?
Kobe.
Yeah, we'll do
I
honorable
didn't
mentions,
even
but
think
just
about that.
does Jose Fernandez hit for anyone? I don't know if like
I mean,
Yeah,
I
no,
remember it.
yeah.
It was just, I don't know. It's not what I was thinking with.
I was super into like I said, I was watching a lot of baseball
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
And he was
I know
so
one that's
fucking good.
that's an honorable mention.
I think you're gonna say what I think could have. If we were doing deaths, I think it's the one heartbreaking death is Len Bias.
Yeah.
Oh
sure,
yeah, of course.
Sure.
But
I
I'm going to go not a death of an athlete, but a death of a family member.
Oh no.
And I'm going to go 1988 Olympics. Dan Jensen,
Oh.
whose sister was sick. His sister was.
We don't have to go down this sad road.
I
do
thought
we?
Frank
But-
was going to take a member of his own family there, the way he
I thought it
teed
was
that
gonna be
up.
Sheamus,
Yeah.
the Great Potato Famine.
but Dan Jansen was an Olympic speed skater champion who was at the 1988 Olympics, and his sister like really helped him out. But she had she had cancer. I think she had leukemia, and like the day hours before he's out to go out for try to win the gold medal, he finds out that his sister's dead, and he falls
Ooh.
in the speed skating competition.
That's
He didn't
bad.
even race. He didn't get a chance to race. He like took the first turn and went down because I guess it's just like he just couldn't get out there and concentrate.
Oh, that's terrible.
I also have on mine being on the other side of the kick six, Alex Smith shattering his leg into 1,000 pieces. I wrote Brandon Roy's career. Brandon Roy was awesome, and his career got cut way too short. Dale, the final turn 4, Dale Earnhardt, R.I.P. And the Trent Ryan bunker incident really broke my heart. He was going to break 90, and then he took like a 10 and couldn't get out of the bunker. So, if you haven't watched that video, it is.
Dan Marino not winning a Super Bowl
Yeah.
would also be on my
This
list.
isn't the feel good draft. This is the heartbreak.
Yeah,
draft.
Dan Marino not winning a Super Bowl would be definitely on the list. All the Met heartbreaks, so many Met heartbreaks.
Yeah.
But he mentioned the big one, 2007.
Dana any?
Oh, one more. Freddie Mitchell and the 4th and 26. I thought that was going to be taken.
Fred
I'm
X.
surprised it wasn't.
I just had the Weber timeout. That's got to be pretty heartbreaking. 3-1 Warriors, and then the Yankees blowing 3-0 lead.
Shocked that wasn't taken too.
3-1 Warriors.
Nah. That's why I didn't take it.
I didn't take it. It was just on my list.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. There's the fact that they won 3 in 4 years.
Yeah, I know. I really didn't have a good. I don't think I had a good list. I'll be honest.
No, I think you did well.
I thought about
be
just
hard to do.
taking the Cleveland Browns because they had the game against Elway in the AFC Championship. It was like the drive where they lost in dramatic fashion. Didn't go to the Super Bowl. Then they had Ernest Biner had the fumble in the 80s. I think that was against the Broncos too. Like he's walking in
Consecutive years.
Yeah.
Consecutive years.
walking in for a game-winning touchdown, just drops the football. Then they get Belichick. They make the playoffs once. They announce they're going to move. The team falls apart. They fire Belichick. The Ravens pop up and immediately win the Super Bowl with basically the roster that Belichick had put together in Cleveland. So they would have had like a Ray Lewis nasty defense coached by Bill Belichick, but they had that team ripped away. They give him a team.
Oh well, Belichick got fired before Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was
Are you
the
sure of
first
that?
draft. Ray Lewis was the
Actually,
first.
you know what, Frank? I'm sure you're right.
Ray Lewis was the draft pick the following year after the last year in Cleveland.
Okay. But
96.
Yeah.
point remains that they were building something in Cleveland with arguably the greatest coach of all time, and they get their franchise ripped away, and then they get it replaced, and they've been absolutely dog shit the entire time since they've been back.
I kind of look at it like this. The Cleveland Browns since 99 are kind of like the counterfeit handbags you buy down at Canal Street.
Not the real Browns.
Yes.
Tim Couch, not a real Brown.
Yeah, it's like they're so fake and phony, and they always fall apart.
Oh, and you took A&M, Maryland basketball when we were in our peak rivalry with Duke. They have their miracle minute where Maryland was up by 10 with a minute left, and then Shane Battier and Jay Williams just did their thing, and little 7th grade Eric.
Yeah.
Pretty heartbroken.
Tough. All right, I
that
just
was
got
bad.
2 more, and then we'll vote off someone, and then we'll get out of here. Obviously, besides Pryor and the double doink, Maple Leafs blowing the 3-0 lead.
Oh, very good.
3-0
Was it
That was
3-0
awesome.
or 3-1?
against Boston.
3-0 in Game 7 with 10 minutes left.
That was
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're up 3-1 in the series, and then they're up 3-0 in Game 7.
tough.
Philly did that to Boston in 2010. Boston was up 3-0. Philly comes back, ties at Game 7. Boston goes up 3-0 in Game 7 and loses that game.
Tough.
You want to know? You want to hear a crazy stat about the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I
Yes.
would love one.
They have not been to the Stanley Cup final since there was only 6 teams in the NHL.
Yeah, 1967.
How pathetic.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then my last one was when Robert Horry knocked out the Sacramento Kings. I hated those Lakers teams.
Yeah.
And those Sacramento Kings teams were like some of the most fun teams.
Oh, how about this one? 1995, Suns blow a 3-1 lead to the Rockets in Game 7. Mario Elie,
Yeah, Frank.
the
Kiss
kiss off.
All right, so I'll run through the list right now. We'll vote someone off, and we'll get out of here. Biggest sports heartbreaks. Tanky, Buckner game. Moore blows it for the 86 Angels. Shot heard around the world. Brooklyn Dodgers moving. 89 Seton Hall championship. Chief, Norwood losing Bills Super Bowl. USA Columbia 1994. Bush push. 98 Vikings NFC championship. 16 Blackhawks losing to the Blues. Dana, Bartman game. Mezzo 7 collapse. Helmet catch. Northern Iowa 16 collapse. Carroll throws at the 1. Nate, Titans 1 yard away. Hayward misses game winner. The decision. Van de Velde 99 Open championship. Hogan joining NWO. Eddie, Derrick Rose injury. 28-3 Falcons Super Bowl. Rangers losing back-to-back World Series, 1 strike away. Damon goes to the Yankees. Jose Fernandez's death. All right.
I actually like my draft a lot.
I don't hate it.
All right.
I
Should we
can't.
vote for someone who we
Whoever
thinks
you
is
think was the worst. Yeah.
Everything you're the worst.
Who was all right, yeah, I know.
We say it out loud, yeah?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you kid. What do you got, Nate?
I'm starting.
Yeah.
I in good conscience, I cannot put someone on the draft who said it was the end of our dynasty. That I cannot put Mr. Ryan Chief on the graphic today.
Dana?
That's someone who's never experienced a dynasty. You don't know how heartbreaking that is.
That's 100% accurate.
I don't want to do this because I know it I'm sorry. Tank. I just don't know any of those events.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I just don't.
know your history.
I don't know my history. I'm sorry. That's the
Yeah,
only.
it's like Jeff Deloach doesn't. History
Yep,
doesn't.
yep.
History doesn't begin in 2010.
I trust
Music
it.
was not created until the Black Eyed Peas.
You know
came
what? I
around.
take it back, Chief.
What the fuck? Don't let him bully
Zero
you.
spine on
I
Dana.
vote Chief out.
No, you got bullied. You voted for Tank.
Tank,
I
who
know,
do
I
you
voted
got?
for Tank.
Chief, I mean, come on, 2016 Blackhawks. I mean, come on, you
was
you won
heartbreaking.
3. There's a lot less heartbreaking than stuff. I mean, double doink. I mean, you could have picked a lot of things. You could pick the Chicago Bears the last 40 years practically. I mean, the Bulls breaking up the team. I mean, just on your own team there alone, it's no.
Nah,
2016 Blackhawks. No, that is not anywhere near heartbreaking.
It's another guy who's never seen the fall of an empire. It's terrible. It's you guys.
I
don't-
saw the fall of an empire. The Devils won 3 Stanley Cups in 4 years. Marty Brodeur lost to the Kings in 2012. And what I know was the last year. The Devils were an excellent team. We had sort of a dynasty, a little bit there. We lost Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final
You
in
went
2001. We could have went back to back, won 3
You
and
didn't
4.
win 3 and 4 years.
We could have.
But
We
you
lost
didn't.
Game 7. We
Yeah,
lost Game
you're
7.
like a
The
pretty-
only thing we lost is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final.
Well,
Chief, I'm sorry you're effectively voted off. Who did you have?
I'm voting for Nate.
Oh, fuck you.
Fucking Hulk Hogan. Everybody knew that. It was on the message board for months, dude.
That was
The
great.
chat rooms.
Yeah.
Underrated moment. All right, sorry, Chief.
Yeah, that's all right. I knew it was coming. That was 2016. I'm not really even over it.
I had you too. I mean, fumbling after the Bills Super Bowl was tough. He had a golden number 2 overall pick, but all right, boys. Thank you all. You're all great.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
We
That was
love you.
great. That was awesome.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Good luck with your new studio.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. That's it for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. See you later.